Yeah! Brooklyn Zoo! Yeah! Now, y'all ready for a Rick James story? I said, are you ready for a Rick James story? Well, I hope you are, because that's exactly what you gonna get. Now, Rick James, synonymous for hit records, you know, tons of them. After all the things Rick then went through, people only cared about one thing. Was Rick James happy? What was going on with Rick? Rick was that guy. So when things were transpiring and changing, as things was transpiring and changing in music, hip hop has become a representation, and Rick James music was used in a lot of people's songs. And one artist was so in love with Rick James, he had to meet him, he had to talk to him, and this person inspired an entire album. And it was the ODB, kid. The ODB had burnt through a lot of money. He had a lot of court problems. He was facing jail time. He had burnt up a lot of money that he got from the Wu-Tang Forever, and he owed an album to Elektra, and they were getting ready to sue and take him to court because he had burned through a lot of the advance money. So he knew he needed to come up with records fast. So hanging out in California, he decided, the studio put him with some other producers that, they can get this album made. He had songs that he had recorded and halfway done. They brought in some guys to try to fix and master and get them done. Now, RZA, who had basically put the project on the back burner because Dirty was, not available. So it was RZA's time was allocated in other directions and to other groups that were coming out that was going to, do well for the company. So while in California, Dirty was kind of doing his own thing. And he was talking with Rick James. Now, I'm going to tell you something. This is a whole different Rick James. This is clean and sober Rick James. Yeah. Rick wasn't messed up. Rick was sitting there and he was just talking about all the times that they was performing, and he was like, man, I seen you guys, man, the Wu-Tang, man, you guys was doing your thing out there, and I see y'all, man, and see what I like about you, man. They called you the old dirty bastard, and I love that name. And you know why I love that name? Because it's free. No one told you. No, you go into a record company and say, my name is Old Dirty Bastard. They're going to say, well, first thing we got to do is change your name. And you like the hell with that. This is who I am. I'm free. I'm expressing myself as an artist. And that's what you got to do. You can't let nobody bottle you up. So, Dirty used to sit there and talk to Rick. And Rick would talk for hours. Rick would just sit there and talk for hours and hours and on end. And while that was happening, that was keeping Dirty off drugs. It was keeping his mind listening to him, and he was having a good time listening to Rick James. So Rick was helping him out. He was like, man, I'm working on my album, and I'm trying to come up with an angle that I could use so I could, for inspiration. You don't mind if I use you as my inspiration for the album? He was, no, man, I love that. Man, you could use whatever you want, man. He was like, I want to do a cover for Cold Blooded. He was like, man, if anybody could do it, you can. Yeah, go on ahead, man. I would love that. Man, go ahead. Do me proud. So he had the blessing of Rick James, the old dirty bastard, to go out and record and use all the songs he want. And Rick told him, don't do it like Rick. That's one thing I want you to promise me. Don't do it like Rick James to do it. One, you're not going to be able to do it like Rick James. And that's okay. Do it like you would do it. Don't do it like Rick James. I've already done it. See, other people try to do Rick James, and that's where they fail. Now, that scrawny little prince, you know, he don't know what real music is. He think he knows, because he went to the music class. He learned all these instruments. He don't know that music is from the soul. See, music got to come from the soul. It don't come from just out of the air and just something out of your mind. It comes from your soul. See, that scrawny little bitch, you know, we don't want to talk about that. Let's just keep the focus right where it needs to be. It's got to come from you. It's got to come from your soul, baby. You got to put some stank on it. So, Dirty went out and made these records, and he did a cover song for Cold Blooded, which was one of the last songs he added to the album. And Rick was there listening to it. He brought in, he was like, I did the song. I want you to listen to it. And he's listening to it. It is all off key and everything. Girl, you're super hot and sexy, sexy, sexy. Ricky, yeah. Yeah. Cold blooded. Oh man, this is hot. You gotta put this out. This gonna be your lead single. I'm telling you right now, this gonna blow yourself up. And the studio wasn't too happy. Studio wanted to cut the record. They were like, okay, we want to cut this record off because we don't know about getting the rights. He's like, Rick James said I could use it. So Rick, at that time, didn't really have the masters to it. They were able to work it out to get the clearance for the record. It wasn't enough because he wanted to get the clearance also for Super Freak. And that wasn't going to go over so well. So Cold Blooded was the song that they could use. Another studio wouldn't allow a clearance for another song that Rick had, even though Rick gave him his okay to do it. Even though he didn't need Rick's okay, he wanted to get Rick's okay. You know, the studio's like, you don't have to check in with Rick James. He was like, yeah, I do. You know, Rick made the record. So that's only right. That's just how he felt about going about doing the process. And I was okay with all that. You know, to me, that shows a level of maturity. That shows growth. That shows somebody out there who gives a damn. In my opinion, that's what I see. Now, the way everybody else might look at things is a little different. But for me, that's how I saw it. So anyway, Rick goes back, and Rick is telling him, you know, they doing the album cover when the album's completed. And he told him, man, see, that's what I'm saying, man. All you got to do is go lay your vocals, let in, you know, you can do your own background vocals. And you know how it should sound. And then you let them other motherfuckers go in there, and then you let them do their work, and your job done. All you got to do is sit back. Now, what's the name of the album? Oh, the black man is God and white man is the devil. Oh, man, that's amazing. That's an amazing title. Are they going to run that? Oh, I know you going to make them pee on themselves when they hear that. Man, they going to have a heart attack. Them boys going to be popping them pills and everything. Man, you going to cause heart attacks in there with that title. So they came up with the title, and that was on the flyer to go. So the managers, everybody's freaking out. They calling everybody up like, hey, wait a minute. Wait a minute now. This can't go down. No, we can't have this. This cannot be the case. We cannot have an album that says these things. There's no way we can have that in the title. We don't even want the black man as God. We want people to buy this record. So the record company, they like, what is he trying to do? He's ruining us with this thing here. So he had all these other titles that weren't going to work, and they just came out with Nigga Please. And that was the title for the album. And he's in a jumpsuit like Rick James, and he's got this wig on, and he got his head back. looking like one of Rick covers. And Rick was like, man, I remember taking a cover like that. I took a whole bunch of them. Because if they refuse one, here's another. And it's going to be even worse. So I'm saying, you better go with the first one I give you. Because it's only going to get worse. And if you try to change something, oh, I'll go out butt naked on stage. I'll embarrass you. So, Rick was in there telling stories to Old Dirty Bastard and giving him guidance, man. And the worst thing Dirty did was leave Cali and go back to the East Coast. And once he did that, and his time, and he left, and him and Rick, he was like, man, come back and holler at me, man. Call me up, man. We'll talk, man, my brother. It was a distance between the two, and he really needed Rick. I think Dirty needed Rick more than he knew. You know, and it's sad because those two together, that was very interesting to see those two together working and, you know, and all that stuff. And Rick was helping him because he was, for the first time, he just had so many legal problems going on. He ended up having to go to jail. And they couldn't really promote the album the way they want to, even though Dirty had a hit record with, you know, Dirty, I Got Your Money. It was just the monster slam of the whole rest of the fall, winter, and everything. And Cold Blooded, you know, he had that one in that song too. So it was quite interesting. You know, so if you never heard the album, go listen to it. It is real crazy. And you could tell that some of the songs go with the original title. He made a song, and you could tell some of those songs were changed up a little bit and pushed towards the back of the album. But that was like one of the lead songs for the original title, Black Man is God, White Man is the Devil. It's a song on there that called Recognize. That kick off with Chris Rock on the intro. Then it's another one that comes in when he just blasts people and you hear it right away. I don't know the name of that song, but he just comes out and blames everything. You guys trying to take everything. You looking at old dirty bastards here. Yeah, that song, that went with the original title. Nothing like, this is not going to be a commercial album. So, yeah, it's a very interesting story, I think. But you guys have to make that decision. Not me. Anyway, I'm out. Don't forget to support the page. Hit up the Cash App. Your boy Carcino here is Carcino on the Cash App, of course. You can click the link in the description box. Hit the Streamlab up. If you leave me a message, I will check it and get back and put it out in a video, as I do. Tomorrow we will be doing the screen by screen, picture in picture. So that ought to be very interesting. I'm excited to do that with y'all again. It's been a while since we did the StreamYard. So tomorrow we will be doing that and kicking it off. I'm very happy. So if anybody got something they want to say to me, they could jump right on and we can talk. Don't get scared.